Do we have too much government?
We need to put people ahead of corporate profits.
This system is so lopsided.
This threat is a real threat to democracy.
And I think that's really important. That's something we haven't been doing in this country for a long time.
Where do you start? What do you do? How do you do it?
Access to Democracy is sponsored by Thomson Reuters, providing legal professionals with the intelligence, technology, and human expertise they need to find trusted answers. Products include Westlaw, Practical Law, and Firm Central legal practice management software for small law firms. Thomson Reuters, the answer company. Online at thomsonreuters.com. Access to Democracy is made possible in part by a donation from Firefly Credit Union. Firefly is the new name of U.S. Federal Credit Union, which has proudly served the financial needs of the Greater Twin Cities community since 1925. At Firefly, we guide our members forward and give them the power to chase dreams by delivering the financial solutions they need to get ahead. From checking accounts to mortgages, we'll light the way. We are Firefly Credit Union, and this is Life Illuminated. And Dr. Charles Crutchfield of award-winning Crutchfield Dermatology in Eagan, acknowledged as one of the nation's best physicians. A Minnesota native who trained at the Mayo Clinic, Dr. Crutchfield personally treats all patients and states that experience counts and quality matters. Crutchfield Dermatology. Look good, feel great, with beautiful skin.
Welcome. Access to Democracy returns. I'm your host, Alan Miller. We have a return guest. Always good to see him. He just came in on a solar-powered plane from India, but, well, maybe not. But Mouli of SolarPod.
Thank you.
I won't try your last name, but let's have you pronounce it.
It's Yaidyanathan.
Yaidyanathan.
That's correct.
I always destroy it, so I just say Mouli.
Well, it's a proper noun. So,
8 years ago, Mouli's corporation started here. They have gone on to all sorts of great things in solar energy, which we'll talk about. And it's really interesting because 2 weeks ago, I had the author Sean Otto and his wife Rebecca, who happens to be the Minnesota State Auditor in,
that's
and they
right.
were talking about the fact that they just had a terrific installation of solar energy on their home. They are very environmentally conscious.
That's right.
They had a really self-powered home. They have a windmill built into the side of a hill. Everything really that the environment should have. And then they said, and we used your guest, Mouli.
That's right.
And I said, he's in India right now visiting his mother, which I don't think they realized. But they could not say enough about the SolarPod and the installation.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, our growth has been primarily through people finding our product to be of great value. We have not taken the subsidized government route, and we are catering primarily to the free market principles of solar. And we have done very well because we have a very unique product that is patented, and I'm happy to announce today that just yesterday we got approval from a German test lab as well. So,
oh, really?
yes. So
you are really international at the moment.
We are getting there slowly and surely. And very large German company, Solar World, they did their testing, and preliminary test results show it is 6 to 10 times more stronger than conventional systems. So that's a phenomenal.
And why is that?
The way we have designed our SolarPod is it's a flush mount to the roof, and when you mount it in the same pitch as the roof, the stresses are completely taken away. The best example I can give you is an airplane which weighs nearly 600 tons. It is flying in the air, and we don't question why it is flying.
Oh, I question it every time I'm in one.
And we have reversed that process. So as much as the airplane is kept in the air because of wind engineering, we do the same opposite to wind engineering to ensure that it never flies out and it is stronger, in fact, when the wind goes up.
And also unique, I know about yours, and we talked about it before, is the fact that yours adheres to the roof, which is what you're talking about. It doesn't have to be nailed or bolted or anything else into the roof, which always raises the possibility of damage to the roof.
That's precisely the reason our system has no attachments. That means no water leaks ever in the life of the system. Because we have no attachments, the roof structure is not compromised. The structure is always, anytime you put a hole on a roof, you are actually compromising the structure of the roof, and is not a very structurally sound thing to do. So, and the third thing that we have done with this is, by the system design, the cost of the system has decreased by nearly 30 to 50% because of our design, and that is a significant improvement in technology from the conventional systems.
Now, your background is in engineering.
That's correct.
And this is your invention, really.
That's correct.
And it's unique in that regard. And it's patented.
Correct.
So,
and we have gone through all of the certifications now. We have gone through the UL certifications. We've gone through the wind tunnel certifications now recently from Solar World in Germany. And a couple of weeks ago, we even got an installation in Los Angeles, which is considered one of the most highly regulated cities for solar. So these are all small but very firm steps in the right direction.
and in the mornings when I walk my dog up in the area of Goat Hill Park here in Egan, there is a SolarPod installation there that I understand you donated to the city of Egan?
That's correct. We a couple years ago we had a very good financial year, and we felt Goat Hill Park, which serves the children. Actually, I think most of them who come to that park are below 7 years old, and I felt it's the best place to recruit solar enthusiasts. So
also two very good baseball fields up there.
That's right.
And two hockey rinks up there.
That's right.
As well as the guest house and the playground.
That's right. And I think the city did a evaluation, and the SolarPod that we donated will give anywhere between 15 to 25% of the energy needs for the park, which is good environmentally.
Certainly.
for
well,
many
that's
years.
the whole thing about solar energy. It is good for the environment. It is good for the people who use it. And really, the sun is there. As long as there's a sun, we will have the energy.
Yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's the sun's formula is if you don't use it, you lose it.
And of course, in the winter, Minnesota can be very harsh. But there is almost always sun.
Correct.
Sometimes more powerful in the winter because it's bouncing off of the snow.
Correct.
Which we didn't have too much of this year, fortunately.
Yeah.
But what about when it's cloudy?
We do have some decrease in performance when it is cloudy. But overall, our systems in Minnesota perform as good as systems in Houston or in Florida, because we don't have the high humidity that the South has, and humidity decreases the solar absorption of these panels. So,
Well, that's interesting.
so a nice dry and clear sky helps quite a bit.
And there are things to brag about.
That's right.
The control room is always happy with this because it doesn't have to show my face. It can show
Yeah, we
the
were
Solar
one
Award
of,
finalist that you were in the year that just ended.
yeah, we
and
were one of
also-
3 companies actually from the U.S. and one of 10 international companies. So to win this award, so there were 10 companies selected and in the world, and we were one
That's
of
a
them.
pretty prestigious thing.
Yes, we are.
And you have won some other awards over the last few years.
Yeah, we have we've won some awards here and there, and in the renewable energy associations in other places as well. So yes.
So here's the Ottos. They're shopping around and they say, SolarPod is the best thing for us. What's the next thing that happens?
Yeah, Sean is a very deliberate and extremely precise individual.
An incredibly intelligent. He awes me.
Exactly, and he before he even called me had done so much more homework that to convince him of Solarpad was very, very simple. He had done comparative studies. He had already figured out that without any roof holes, he's going to get the best reliability. So, and besides his intelligence, I think he's got a very strong back. Yeah, he was able to carry all these panels from his garage all the way 2 stories up into his roof.
Well, they built that house themselves.
That's right. So
I mean, literally.
Exactly.
Except for the foundation and for some of the strut works inside. I
yeah,
guess.
and Rebecca Otto, and if I can't speak any good words of them, and it may sound that I'm brown nosing, but that's completely off my scale of things, and they literally are extremely good customers to us, and the fact that
And a great advertisement for you as well.
Exactly, great advertisement, and I mean, my principle has always been simple solar, affordable solar, and modular solar, and there is nothing that I can practice better by having customers like Sean and Rebecca Otto put on their roof. That's a testament to our principles of doing business.
Now, you say solar is affordable. For an average size house, what is the homeowner looking at? And are there government credits? And how much do they save from their electric?
Excellent question. It depends on where you are geographically. Because we serve the entire U.S. from Massachusetts through California, I'm going to try to geographically bring it to Minnesota because that would give you more sense.
And here we are. So
yeah, and in Minnesota, an average home is going to it's going to cost anywhere between $15,000 and $25,000 to install the system, and it's going to save.
now you do the installation.
Correct.
I know the Ottos did a lot of their own work.
Correct.
But
So we have two models. One model is we give them the materials and they find the contractor to do it. In Sean and Rebecca's case, it was they did the installations themselves. We also have a model wherein we design, we bring the materials and do the installation also. If you were to do it,
That's the one I would be on, because beyond turning the lights on and off, I'm not allowed to touch anything.
and it will save an average customer anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year in their electric bill.
To say nothing of how it helps the environment.
Correct. This is purely a financial analysis. If you put the environmental benefits, then it depends on how much you factor in the particulate matter and the cancer-causing gases and so on.
So, what about the government? How do they factor into this? Do you get credits for doing this that you can deduct from your taxes, things like that?
There are two types of governments, as you always know. One is a good one and a bad one, and we try to work for the good one. And the good one is it takes the tax credit and spreads it equally amongst everybody. And that's a 30% tax credit no matter where you are in the U.S. And that's
30% of the cost of the installation.
Costs. Yeah, exactly. So if your cost was $15,000, you would have a credit of $4,500. If your cost was $20,000, you would have a credit of $6,000. So it brings down the effective cost of your system by that 30% margin. So the government surely is helping in that respect, but then
the homeowner has to pay the balance. Well, pays the whole thing,
Correct.
and then gets the credit.
Correct.
But people like our client, a sponsor, Firefly Credit Union, are happy to help people finance over a long period of time,
That's
much
right.
the same as a mortgage. So it really, really is very beneficial to the consumer.
Yeah, I was going to add to the tax benefit is the second benefit, which is given primarily to businesses, and it's an accelerated depreciation. And like the Firefly Credit Union, if they have business customers and they can take the depreciation for 5 years, the payback is almost certain to be within 3 to 5 years. So therefore, the system becomes a very good return on investment for businesses because they get the 30% tax credit and the accelerated depreciation. Therefore, they get the payback anywhere between 3 to 5 years.
Businesses always do better than the individual of late. That's one thing we can say.
Yeah,
How
but
did-
businesses have, I mean, it's easy, from on paper it looks fine, but because businesses in the U.S. Are always trying to better themselves, they tend to be overextended. Therefore, it's difficult to find the high tax burden businesses that, it's not easy to find them.
Well, how did you get involved in solar energy? It's not what you were studying when you were getting several of your many degrees, and you have as many degrees as a thermometer, so I won't even go into that.
Thank you.
But
Yeah, my undergraduate paper was on solar energy back in 1985, and in fact all of my classmates in my engineering class laughed at me for writing that paper because it was completely out of time.
what it was is visionary, and they didn't have the vision.
You could put it that way, but I always felt that if there is something free, why not take advantage of it? and I grew up in a household with frugal means, and so any ways to improve our frugality helped in the overall learning. So in 1985, after I graduated, I went into the electronics industry because that's where most of the growth was, and I worked for TI for many years, and then for Seagate, and then I started my company in 2009, and I've been successful in the last 8 years.
Certainly so, and you're right here locally.
That's right.
The world is first waking up to solar-powered energy, but you have been there, as I said, today's subject, talking on the cutting edge of technology. But you have a great slogan that you use that you probably should trademark, which is just plug in the sun.
Correct.
And that is a great slogan.
Yeah, we have some very, I have a classmate of mine from my engineering days who helps me with these brainstorming sessions. We have made for each other as a slogan between the solar panels and your roof. As a slogan, we have just plug in the sun for standalone systems, so for systems where you don't need to connect to the utility. And sun for everyone is another slogan that we use for on-grid systems, which is a very affordable system. So we have some very unique, passionate slogans because we believe in our product. I think that's what differentiates us from everybody else.
Now, some people put them on their roof, but I've also seen large installations, and we did the last time you were here show some of your large installations.
That's right.
Around the country, Massachusetts, Texas, otherwise, that were on the ground.
Correct.
And what's the difference between the two, and how do you plug that into your power?
The power interconnections are identical whether it's on the roof or on the ground. There are advantages of putting it on the roof. There are disadvantages. There are advantages putting it on the ground. The two most important advantage of putting it on the ground is we have the patents on tilt adjusting the solar panels to your season. So by doing this twice a year, you are getting free nearly 15% more energy than conventional systems.
By adjusting it to where the sun is at that particular time.
Correct. By the two equinoxes in March and in September, if you adjust it twice a year, you would get nearly 15, in Minnesota even 20% if you have a very snowy year. That's the advantage of a ground mount system. The disadvantage of a ground mount is it's going to take off some of your ground space, which on a roof you already have a roof, so you might as well use that space for collecting solar.
Okay, so the system is up on my roof.
Correct.
And the sun is out.
Okay.
Where does the power go, and how does it plug into my home?
The conversion from photons to electrons happen on the solar panel, and the equation is very common equation. It's h nu over lambda, which is Planck's constant over speed of light divided by the wavelength of light.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
So the energy, so what it's saying is the energy as the sun goes up, the energy increases on the solar panel. So the conversion from photons to electrons happen on the surface of the solar panel. And once that energy has moved from photons to electrons, it then goes to your home first, because that's the closest, all of the appliances in your home, and any excess goes to your neighbors through the meter, and the meter spinning backwards. And in the night time, when the sun is surely not present, the meter spins forward and supply. So now your meter, the algebraic sum between the
Does it
data.
store it up? Is that what you're telling
That's
me?
right. It's stored in the grid. That's why it's called a grid-tied system. So the energy moves from the solar panel to the grid. This is in this system. We also have a system where the energy moves from the solar panel to the batteries, and you can use those batteries in the nighttime. We are selling quite a bit of these systems through Lowe's, through Menards, through Northern Tool.
So it doesn't involve a generator necessarily?
Correct. There is no need, no noise. It's completely environmentally free. We supply the complete design and the material, and it's extremely easy to install.
So it's really interesting that it stores it up and then it feeds it back when there is no sun.
Correct. So the storage, so that's where we see, just to give you the progression of our company, until about last year, we were doing more on-grid systems. That means systems that were connected to the grid. Last year, we actually saw 40% of our business being off-grid system. And this year, already I'm seeing off-grid systems beating up. And the reason is utility companies are now charging monthly fees in excess of several tens of dollars to these on-grid customers as a levy on or a punishment for doing solar. So many of my customers are saying, if they're going to increase the fees, I have no control of it, might as well go off grid and not worry about the fees at all. So that's why I see an off grid growth in our business.
Very good. And in the minute we have left, where are we going down the road? What do you see in the future?
I wish I could say that I have a new product. Actually, we are having a very strong R&D. We have one product that we have been working on, and we hope to have it ready in the next couple of months. And that's going to be another revolutionary product in the energy field.
Well, we'll have you come back and talk about it then.
Correct.
Always,
right now I cannot
always
talk
a
about it.
pleasure.
Thanks
always
for having me.
Really an education. And it's Mouli
Thank you.
SolarPod. Look it up. Check them out.
Thanks, Alan.
Save yourself a lot of money in the long run, and really do
Save
a
the
favor.
environment.
Do a favor for the environment, for the earth, etc. Mouli, thank you so much.
Thanks, Alan.